This is a developing story that has sent shockwaves across Nigeria, as the Supreme Court has sentenced Senator Bassey to 7 years imprisonment and ordered him to refund 204 million naira to the Akwa Ibom state government. This has been described by legal analysts as one of the most significant judicial decisions in recent political history. The Apex Court delivered the judgment earlier today in a packed courtroom filled with lawyers, journalists, political observers, and members of the public who had followed the high-profile corruption case from its early investigation stages to its final appeal. According to details presented during proceedings, the charges against the senator stemmed from allegations of financial misappropriation and diversion of public funds amounting to 204 million naira. Prosecutors argued that the money was unlawfully taken from state resources during his time in public office. The Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, upheld the earlier convictions from the lower courts. The court dismissed the final appeal filed by the defense and affirmed that the evidence presented by the prosecution sufficiently established criminal breach of trust and misappropriation of public funds beyond reasonable doubt. In the lead judgment, the presiding justice stated that public office is a position of trust. The justice emphasized that any official found guilty of betraying that trust must face the full weight of the law in order to preserve public confidence in democratic institutions and ensure accountability in governance. The court further ruled that in addition to serving a 7-year custodial sentence, Senator Bassey must refund the entire sum of 204 million naira to the Akwa Ibom state government as restitution for the financial losses incurred. Legal experts say the ruling reinforces the judiciary's stance on anti-corruption enforcement. They say it sends a strong message that no public official, regardless of rank or political influence, is above the law. If you value credible and timely updates like this, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Reactions have begun pouring in from across the country. Civil society organizations have praised the verdict as a victory for accountability. Some political allies of the senator have described the judgment as unfortunate and politically damaging. Outside the courthouse, security was visibly heightened as supporters and critics gathered awaiting the outcome of the final appeal. Many described the appeal as the senator's last legal lifeline. Moments after the verdict was read, a hush reportedly fell over the courtroom before murmurs spread among observers, absorbing the gravity of the decision. The prosecution team expressed satisfaction with the outcome. They stated that justice has been served and emphasized that the case demonstrates the effectiveness of investigative agencies and judicial processes when due diligence is followed. The defense team, however, noted that while they respect the authority of the Supreme Court, they remain concerned about certain interpretations of evidence during the trial. They acknowledge that the Apex Court's ruling is final and binding. Political analysts suggest that this development could have far-reaching implications for the political landscape in Akwa Ibom State and beyond. Conversations around transparency, fiscal responsibility, and anti-corruption reforms continue to dominate national discourse. Many citizens have taken to social media platforms to express their views. Some describe the ruling as a landmark moment in the fight against corruption. Others are calling for broader systemic reforms to prevent future financial misconduct in public office. Economists have also weighed in. They highlight that the ordered refund of 204 million naira underscores the financial impact corruption can have on state development projects. These include infrastructure, healthcare, education, and social welfare programs that depend heavily on public funds. According to available court records, investigators traced financial transactions and documentary evidence linking the diverted funds to accounts and expenditures deemed inconsistent with official approvals and budgetary allocations. Throughout the trial, prosecutors presented witnesses, financial documents, audit reports, and expert testimony aimed at establishing a clear trail of misappropriation. The defense argued that the transactions in question were administrative decisions carried out within the scope of authority. However, The courts at multiple levels found those explanations insufficient to overturn the evidence of unlawful diversion. Governance advocates note that today's ruling may strengthen public demand for stricter compliance mechanisms, stronger internal controls, and enhanced transparency in government financial management systems. Observers also point out that the Supreme Court's decision reaffirms the principle that appellate processes exist to correct errors, but will not overturn convictions where evidence is compelling and procedures have been properly followed. In Akwa Ibom State, residents have expressed mixed reactions. Some are celebrating what they see as justice for taxpayers. Others are reflecting on the broader political consequences for representation and leadership continuity. Constitutional lawyers remind the public that once sentenced and upon exhaustion of appeals, the enforcement of the custodial term will proceed according to correctional service regulations, subject to standard administrative procedures. Meanwhile, anti-corruption campaigners are urging authorities to ensure that the restitution process is transparently executed. They insist that the refunded 204 million naira must be properly accounted for and redirected into public service initiatives that benefit citizens directly. The case has reignited debate about ethics in public office and the responsibilities entrusted to elected officials who manage public resources on behalf of the people. Analysts argue that beyond the immediate legal outcome, the symbolic value of the judgment could influence future office holders to adopt stricter compliance standards and avoid actions that may expose them to criminal liability. As the nation continues to monitor developments, stakeholders emphasize the importance of institutional independence, due process, and adherence to the rule of law in sustaining democratic governance. The Supreme Court's pronouncement stands as the final word in this matter. It brings an end to a prolonged legal battle that has spanned investigations, trial proceedings, appeals, and intense public scrutiny. For many Nigerians, today's decision represents more than just the sentencing of a senator. It represents a defining moment in the ongoing pursuit of accountability, transparency, and responsible leadership in public service. Further updates are expected as authorities commence enforcement procedures and as political reactions continue to unfold across party lines and civic platforms. This remains a developing story. We will continue to provide verified information as it becomes available, while maintaining focus on the broader implications for governance, justice, and public trust in Nigeria. For more in-depth reports and breaking news updates, kindly subscribe to our channel and stay connected.